Do you know what? I really thought you were about to go into the opening of Living on a Prayer then, and you were going to melt my heart there. Because you went, whoa, we're half.
No, it's my roller coaster impression.
It's roller clo.
No,
roller coaster glow.
Roller coaster glow.
I think that's something that we need to see an Instagram of.
Or roller glow?
No, roller coaster glow.
Oh, roller coaster glow. Roller coaster glow. That's a mouthful, guys, isn't it?
It is a mouthful.
Ah.
Anyway, how are you?
I am wonderful, Stephen. Thank you so much for asking me. I am fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I'm going to the Maldives.
Really? You haven't mentioned it.
I'm going tomorrow.
You are?
Yeah. So obviously this episode's come out after I've been, so you might see on the Instagram.
Chloe
I'm already there.
in the Maldives.
But this is being recorded before I go because I can't record a podcast from the Maldives.
No.
I could. It'd be very difficult though.
She could. She just doesn't want to.
No,
That's how little you mean.
It's because I'm working.
No, I know.
I'm out there for work. I'm
working,
Stephen.
Shut up, are you working?
So yeah, I finished packing this morning, and the flight's not until like 5:30 tomorrow, which for me is really inconvenient because
your whole day goes.
Yeah, it's like when you've got a doctor's appointment at 3 PM. You can't do anything until 3 PM.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm kind of currently finding with my own work position.
Mm-hmm.
Like most of my work starts at like 3:30, so the whole time beforehand I'm like pottering about, going for a walk, doing the shopping. Like,
see, because we're going to your parents before, that's quite nice because we'll be leaving here at like 11:15.
Yeah.
And then we'll get to there, then that's sorted. So I need to find something to do between waking up and 11:15 because I woke up this morning at 5:15.
Yeah, you were up so early and I was just like, I'm going to leave you to it.
It's not like I'm consciously aware of being like excited awake.
Yeah.
I'm just wide awake at that time.
I'm wide awake.
So I got up at at 5:45. I started playing my Nintendo Switch, and you were asleep still. And then I got out of bed.
I'm not gonna lie, I ain't getting up for that.
No, so
and that not being you, I mean, like the overall situation. I didn't just call you that.
No, so yeah, I've had my everything shower. I've packed my suitcase. It's now just recording and getting things ready because Stephen's going to be in charge of the Instagram. I will still be posting on the Instagram on the story, being like, look at my island I'm on. And
look at my island.
Yes, but replying to comments will mainly be left to Stephen, so I can only apologise in advance if you get any slander
or if you just get a thumbs up. No, I'm only joking. I will respond.
No, you'll do a good job.
Because I quite enjoy doing all of that. It's just that normally that's your job.
It is.
I'm just taking up the mantle.
You are.
Shall we answer last week's question?
How are you?
I'm all right. I wasn't going to update massively because I know that we're recording another episode straight after this.
Yeah, but how are you right now?
Oh, I'm great.
You haven't been very well.
I haven't been very well. I've had a very stiff neck, and yeah.
Sorry, no. Don't know why that's funny. Do you remember though when we used to be like every single?
At my pain?
No. Do you remember every single episode we used to be like, yeah, I'm not very well at the moment for like 2 months.
Yeah.
Haven't said that for a while, so.
No. Yeah, no, I haven't been too well, but I think one of the things that is quite nice about my situation at the moment is that I have time to recover.
Yeah.
So it means that I actually have gotten better in the space of like a day and a half. When normally that might have taken at least a week with everything.
Yeah, or you would have gotten worse.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So yeah.
I'm quite thankful for that. But what was last week's question? Please remind me.
Last week's question is, what roller coaster's got the longest track between Walt Disney World and Universal?
Gotcha.
Because the longest track is Mako in Orlando, which is SeaWorld. But between the two of them, the longest track is Hagrid's at 1,540.
Once again, guys, Chloe and numbers.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Is this why I'm trusted with the banking for our house?
Yes. But Velocicoaster was very close behind, and so was Everest.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like 200 meters between Hagrid's and Everest, and like.
Do you know what 100... I'm kind of curious with though? Is where will Starfall Racers be? Like,
I think that's going to be...
Is it actually longer? Or do you count it twice because it's a double track? Obviously not, but good point though, isn't it?
It is two... No, because it's...
Yeah.
That is...
What's up?
That is... I'm just deciding about that conundrum.
Well, it's not open at the moment, is it?
No, but is it one track or two tracks? It's one track. Oh, two. It's one roller coaster. I don't know. Should we get into the episode though?
Yeah, of course.
So we're going to pass over to other Chloe and Stephen for a guest episode.
Quick change.
Today's episode, we have got a guest episode with 2 guests.
Ooh. We're starting to make a real habit of this, by the way. Of getting like 2 people on instead of 1.
Fun.
I love it.
It's fun. We have got Natasha and Luke. Hi, guys.
Hi.
How you guys doing?
Yes, we're good. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not
Good.
apart from the fact that I feel like the jet lag is just about wearing off now. I feel like I have like the slightest remnant, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wearing my nice new Disney World jumper, so I'm happy. And as
Gotta
we're
rock the
recording
merch.
this, it is yeah, absolutely. It is 2 months today until we next go out. So I'm not too bitter about it. Like it's okay.
Wow.
But
Drop that bombshell straight in there.
yeah, that's it. We're sad to be back, but it's okay. We're going again in
2
2 months
months.
anyway.
Yeah, I feel like the only way to get over Disney blues is to already have a trip booked before you come back, and then you can't feel sad because you
Yeah.
already have a trip lined up.
Yep.
Yeah,
100%.
I feel
definitely
like
the best way to
completely.
do it.
So let's start by getting to know you guys a little bit better. So what I'm going to ask you is just in sort of like 30 seconds to a minute. Like, who are you guys?
Who
What
are
do
you?
Who are you?
Do you want to start?
Wow, we've actually been together for 17 years. So we got together when we was 13 and was in school.
Wow.
Amazing.
It was actually meant to be a joke, and Luke said yes, and it kind of stuck.
Well, that's a long running joke, isn't it?
Yeah, she's going to be shocked when the punchline comes.
And we've been married for 3 years in May.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And as you can probably tell, we are roller coaster and theme park nutters.
Mhm.
We love everything to do with theme parks, roller coasters, Disney parks, just Disney. And we decided, why not start a YouTube and Instagram?
yeah,
Beautiful.
So that's where we are today, basically.
yeah. You weren't the biggest fan of Disney, and then I was like, I really want to go to Disneyland. Never been to Paris before. I'd been to Florida when I was younger. Luke hadn't. And he was like, oh, yeah, okay, there's not any like big thrills or anything. I was like, stop being Mardy, just go, you'll love it. And now he's worse than me, so
Yeah, I
Yeah.
watched Dream and Shine Brighter at Disneyland Paris, and that's it. It's just like, just take my money,
Mhm.
just take it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
It's amazing how quickly they kind of get you. Like,
Well, we
'cause
were
I think
literally saying today,
Yeah, go on.
we've got some friends, and her husband is really like, I don't see the point of going to Disney. Like, we'll go later when the kids are older, like, if we have to. And we're both there, be like, just give it a go.
Yeah, just
because
do
we
it.
promise you, you're gonna love it. But yeah, it's funny how much like you like Disney, but you weren't like a Disney fan, I'd say.
Yeah, no,
And
I
now-
was a Disney fan and I liked the parks and I was like open to going again because I first went when I was in like 2005.
I think it was like an every 5 years kind of thing for you,
Oh yeah. Whereas now it's
Mm.
like, you know,
multiple times a year.
yeah, it's like getting my 5
Every
a day.
5 weeks.
Like get your 5, yeah, get your 5 a year.
Yeah. So you mentioned like obviously roller coasters in general. Do you have a favorite like theme park in the world for roller coasters?
So my favourite theme park that we've done is Efteling in the Netherlands. I absolutely love it. It's so magical, but different magic to Disney, but somewhat similar. It's a weird vibe. But yeah, that's my number one theme park. But it's not even necessarily for the coasters. I really like dark rides as well, and they
Yeah.
have some of like the top dark rides in my opinion. I love it there. So
Yeah, and for me personally, it is Europa Park, which is in Germany,
Yeah.
because it's got a really good mix of roller coasters, theming, dark rides. Then it's also got really good shows
yeah, it has.
and good atmosphere. It's just a fantastic place. That place
It's so
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
though.
it is huge. It's
Like
really
the
big
first
park.
time we went, it was a bit much, wasn't it? Because
It's a bit
it's so
overwhelming,
big, it's
yeah, from the
overwhelming.
get-go.
Yeah. There are two theme parks that I really want to go to.
Yeah, they've been on my hit
but
list for ages.
I have no idea not how to get there. I know how to travel, but like where to stay and like where to book it through and all that kind of stuff. So we might end up picking your brains at some point on.
I mean,
how
to be
to
fair,
approach it, kind of
Absolutely.
I was gonna say let's pick it apart a little bit now.
Yeah.
To be honest, like, so how do
Why not?
you
Yeah.
how do you sort of go about how is it different booking the sort of European parks compared to like booking the US parks?
So the first time we went to Efteling, we actually went for our honeymoon, and it was literally just, oh, let's just do it, because Luke can be a bit like, oh, what about this? What about that? And I'm like, nah, let's just book it.
Sounds like me.
So
Yeah.
I'm the thinker, you're the doer.
yeah, literally.
Literally, yeah.
There you go.
This must be a woman and male thing.
Yeah, must
Woman
be.
and
Well, we-
male, I know what I mean.
We always
Um,
say, you're the dreamer and I'm the doer, is how we
Yeah.
say it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is fair.
yeah, absolutely. And we actually saw, because it was quite short notice, they had a really good, was it 2 nights that we did?
3 nights, I think.
2 nights, 3 days, I think.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
They had an offer directly on their website for
Nice.
their hotel Bosrac.
Yeah.
So we literally booked directly through them. And then we actually looked at Theme Park Worldwide because he's done how to get to Efteling and stuff like that. So we actually ended up doing public transport once we got there. So we flew with Ryanair, and then
Flew to Eindhoven.
Yeah, we flew to Eindhoven, and then we got on, what was it?
A bus.
Was it 2 buses?
2 buses and a train, right?
2 buses and a train, yeah. But because on Google Maps you can like put your route in, it literally told you what buses to get, what train to get, and it dropped us off literally right outside Efteling, didn't it?
Yeah. Efteling had like a bus stop,
straight from the airport.
It was quite funny though.
Really good.
Yeah.
It was like our first time being abroad apart from Disneyland Paris together as adults.
Yeah.
And literally we got on the bus at the airport and it was so full, like it was rammed.
It was like sardines.
And no joke, I shoved Tasha on and then the doors went to close. And because Tasha's in a foreign country in a totally random bus, she literally yanked me.
I literally grabbed his shirt and hauled him into the bus. I was like, "You are not leaving me on the bus on my own." And we was literally like that against the door.
Yeah.
But we made it, so it's okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say, it makes a good story in the end.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But if he'd have not got on that bus, I probably would have broke down crying because I'm like, where am I going? Where do I get off? Do I get off at the next one or what? So
Yeah.
But no, it's a similar thing with Europa Park really as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
you want to see what we've done that way.
Yeah, Europa Park. Both times we flew into Baden-Baden again with Ryanair. But because it's a bit further away, the airport is. We just hired a car, just like you would in Orlando. A lot of people do in Orlando, you know.
Yeah.
We just picked a car high up from the airport and drove. So and we stayed on site at Castello Alcazar, which is one of their hotels, one time, and then the second time we stayed at Hotel Cronsar, which is like near Rulantica, which is their water park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we've done staying off site as well with Efteling.
We have with Efteling, yeah. We did a little, well, I say little, it was a relatively big European road trip last year, and we stayed about 10 minutes away from Efteling. And we just drove. Well, Luke drove. I don't drive abroad. Luke literally drove us the 10 minutes there in the morning. We paid for parking, and it worked perfectly that way as well. So, and it was a really good hotel.
Yeah,
it was called Great Hotel. Is what it was called. So yeah, if it's something you want to do, let us know, and we can go more in depth with you.
You mentioned a little bit earlier, Natasha, that there's some similarities between like the Disney parks and these European ones. What would you say those similarities are, and how do they differ as well?
Theming wise, like I feel like in the UK, theming's very limited,
non-existent.
Yeah,
it had to be nice
to be blunt. Yeah. Whereas the European parks we've gone to, they remind me more of like what you do get in Orlando, or in Disney. Efteling is more like the old school fairy tale kind of vibes, but no matter where you look, there is something to look at. Like you might have seen it, they've got like the really cool bins where they like literally suck your rubbish in and stuff, and it's just like it's just quirky things like that. And then like Europa Park, because they have set areas for different countries, like even if we've not been to that country, you know that it's based on that country because the theme is that good.
Yeah, and if you're talking similarities with Europa Park and Disney, you've got the Can Eurosat roller coaster, which is in an Epcot ball.
Yeah,
it literally looks like Epcot. They've got like their Ghost Castle, which is definitely a rip of like Haunted Mansion.
Yes, it is.
You can definitely tell in the early days, Europa Park was very heavily influenced by Disney. Like they got Persian and Batavia.
The Americans have got it right, so we might as well.
That's it.
Yeah,
good enough for them. It's good enough for us, kind of thing.
It's like the first time we went, I was a little bit salty. I was like, well, they took that from Disney. They've took that from Disney. They've took that from Disney. But then pushing that aside, like I really learned to appreciate what they have as well, and they are really good parks. But again, abroad they do tend to try and have like a little parade, or they try and mix it up with shows and stuff like that. Efteling got a couple of shows, nothing too major. Whereas Europa Park's got
like 13 shows. It's ridiculous.
A lot of shows and a parade, so they're probably more on par with with Disney on that.
Yeah, and anyone who's been to Disney in sort of olden days, before I started
Yeah.
going to Disney parks, they have free fast track as well at Europa Park.
They do.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they do
God.
free fast track. So it's
Wow.
like the old school
All
Disney
on,
ones.
all on the
I was
app.
about to say,
It's
do
so
we all
easy.
remember those days? Let's just take a moment and say,
I
remember when we
remember those
didn't have to
days.
pay?
Remember running through
Remember
a
the
machine,
little
to
paper
scan your
tickets?
ticket to get a
Oh,
paper
God.
one.
Take me back to that.
Yeah,
It's
simpler
like, it makes me
times.
feel nostalgic, but also like really, really angry at the corporate machine. When was the first time that you guys went to Orlando together?
2023. It was. We went with your sister and like brother-in-law,
Yeah.
who we're going to Orlando with again this year.
Mhm.
Something we've spoke about doing for years, like well before COVID. We spoke about
Yeah, yeah.
going us for, because you went as a kid.
Yeah.
I think last time you went was like 2008.
It was the
Before
year we
that.
got together, yeah.
Yeah,
So last
so she
time I
didn't
went, I
bring me
was
anything
13.
back. I was fuming.
Oh.
Well, I mean,
Let's got together.
and it was a joke. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
come
it
on,
was a
guys, we're all
joke.
adults.
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly.
You didn't think it was
I
going to
thought
stick.
you'd have like gone by now.
So yeah, the first time was 2023.
Yeah.
For us all like together, yeah.
And what was that
Yeah.
trip like? Like, what were some highlights? What did you really kind of take away from it? Especially you, Luke, with it being like your first experience.
I think the thing that sticks me so much is that when you walk out the airport and the heat just hits you in the face.
Mhm.
That you were saying that to me all that time when
You
you
just
were like,
didn't believe it, did you?
you-
I'll be
you-
fine.
nothing feels like it. It is like opening an oven. And that
Oh,
is
big
like
time.
the first memory I've got of Orlando, which is just them all going whoosh and me going, whoa.
Whoa. Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
with
when
all
we
the
were
heat.
there this trip, we landed and it was like storming. So like the doors
Oh,
opened
yeah.
and it was like cold, and I was like, this isn't Florida.
But also, Orlando's had like one of the coldest sort of like winters they've ever
Yeah.
had. So like there were
Yeah.
times this trip that I was like, I'm actually cold. This is not what I've paid for.
Really?
and then literally when it came to like the second day, like all of a sudden
Mm.
it ramped up. And this is the thing is like, even when it's like 24, 25 degrees, because you've got
Yeah.
that level of humidity, it feels like so much
Yeah.
worse. So when you are going in like a summer period or a time when it's 30 degrees plus, like you
Mm.
said, it smacks you in the face. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm definitely in Florida.
But because it fluctuates so much throughout the day, when we were there on our first day, we went back and got changed around 2 o'clock into like jeans and a jumper. Well, took our
Mm.
jumper with us, but had jeans on.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
as soon as we go back to the park, the sun comes out. I was like, is this some
Oh,
kind
no.
of joke? And it was so warm. I was watching the show and I'm like, I'm now in a long sleeve top and jeans. And I look like an idiot. But then there were people that I'm still seeing on like a week in when it was then sitting at the low 20s, but pure sunshine, and people wearing
Mm.
coats. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
too far.
Wow.
Like,
That's the locals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
must be.
Yeah.
yeah, but then we did have someone in the queue for Rise Resistance. We were like, oh, this is nice. The sun's out. It's quite nice and hot. And they were like, you should be here in the summer when it gets really hot. And I was there, like, because I worked out there for a summer
Yeah.
instead of my sister, and you've been out there for the summer.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh yeah. He's like, because then you know what it's really like when it's hot. And we were like, okay.
You're like, we know.
It's like, yeah,
We
I
know.
know.
Sorry.
I was like, all right, sorry.
We are from Britain, you know. Do not come
Yeah.
over there.
Exactly.
So yeah, what were some of the highlights on that trip?
I mean,
from
to
the-
me, apart from the heat, and the torrential rain when that comes.
You
No,
were not happy in
Animal
Animal
Kingdom.
Kingdom.
No, I got swamped. Like seriously.
Oh.
I think for me, it's just how big everything is. Everything's like it's like home, but it's bigger, isn't
Yes.
it? Like everything's
Yeah.
so big. Like it's not even like the car. Like I ordered like a standard car. We've got a
Mhm.
massive car, and then I was thinking I'll never be able to park this up anywhere. But yeah, you can because everything's massive. Like the spaces
Yeah,
are really
Yeah.
big, and it just everywhere's so big, and like the big signs when you're just driving around, you see the big signs for everything,
Yeah.
and things like that. Like that's huge memories for me in terms of park specific. I think Velocicoaster for me straight away was a hit.
Nice.
Popeyes is a firm favourite
Oh yeah, I love
from,
Popeyes.
from
Yeah.
Orlando.
Absolutely.
You need that on a 33-degree day.
Oh,
Mhm.
absolutely.
And then Disney, I mean, we was comparing Disney, well, Magic Kingdom to like Disneyland Paris quite a lot, weren't we?
Yeah, because we had annual passes for Paris, so we have been there quite a lot. So
Sure.
and obviously because Luke had never been to Florida and I'd not been for so long, I think Paris was just always at the front of our mind.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
easy to
So it was
compare.
like, yeah, just trying to compare what we thought. And when we came back at the end of 23, we were like, nah, still prefer Disneyland Paris. like the main park. And then we went last year, was like, nah, we're idiots. What were we thinking?
I just love Magic Kingdom now.
So much better.
We just love Magic Kingdom now, and like it's just like the photo, like the service you get out there is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
everyone we come into contact with at Universal and the cast members at Disney, really great, aren't they? They're
Yeah,
really
they are.
fantastic, and like always taking your photo with like the magic
Yeah.
photo pass. You know, all the photographers. That was brilliant. The food and the snacks out there. The snack game is
It's
fire.
on
I think that's
point,
something that,
So
that
good.
definitely tops Paris is the food game in Orlando.
Yeah.
When you compare it,
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my biggest like sort of memory from that trip was seeing Luke's reactions for the first time, because he'd not
Yes.
been before. And then my brother-in-law hadn't been before either. So it was like them two were like, oh wow, look at this, look at this. And me and my sister was like, we've seen that before. It's still cool, but we've seen it before you, and just stuff
Yeah.
like that. So yeah, it
Yeah.
was just nice to see like first reactions, but also experience it for the first time together. It was really nice.
yeah, it's something we've spoken about quite a few times on the podcast, is seeing it through other people's eyes and like that giving you a bit of something. So I mean, even like this trip, we took Sophie and Harry to see the Country Bear Jamboree. Now it's been, I mean, they'd never been before, and now obviously it's been reimagined. But just watching them like watch it, even though they've been to Disney so many times, and we're going in May with some friends who have never, I think one friend has been but as a child, and the other one has never been, and we're so
Yeah.
excited just to go and be with them. And we've said we're not going to sit together on rides because we want to sit with them and we want to see how they find them,
Yeah.
like Hagrid
Yeah.
on the roller
Yeah.
coaster. And it is just so lovely to see someone else experience it.
Yeah. Did you find that
Yeah.
much had sort of changed, Natasha, from like your memories of this park when you were a child to doing it again sort of a couple of years ago?
I think the thing that felt most different to me was probably when we went to Epcot, because when I was younger, like I said, I think the last time I went I was probably only like 13. Like my parents didn't really make a big deal out of Epcot. They weren't really a big fan of it and stuff like that. And then seeing the vlogs over the years before we went, I was like, well, I don't remember that. Even though it was there, I was like, I didn't do that, I didn't do this, I didn't see that. So walking back into Epcot and seeing what it actually is, like, it's one of our favorites, isn't it? Like we both love Epcot.
Yeah.
So I think that was like the biggest change. Was I've always kind of grown up thinking, oh, you know, it is what it is. It's not really me. It's all space and stuff. I'm not bothered, to going in and being like, oh, this is actually awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
And blame my parents for making me feel like that for years.
Because I think on the surface level, when you look at kind of all the parks kind of lined up, even across with like Universal, like you line them all up and you go, well, Epcot doesn't feel like a theme park. It feels like a park with some experiences in it. And then I think the older that you get, and you sort of get to like all of our ages, and you suddenly go, no, this is perfectly suited to me. It's got cracking food. It's got loads of different experiences. You can drink whatever you want, eat whatever you want. And like, if you want to do things fast paced, you can do them. If you want to do things, you know, a lot slower, you've got them.
If you want to
It's
meet
wonderful.
a character, if you want to go on a fast paced ride, there's literally everything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love it.
And the lake in the middle is just gorgeous as well.
Yeah,
Like,
and also one thing we explored for the first time last year is obviously you can leave Epcot and just go to the Broadwalk, which is another really nice area as well.
Honestly,
Especially at night.
me, one of the nicest areas in all of Disney property.
Yeah, get on the Skyliner, get a little coffee at the Riviera. I didn't do that this trip.
No, you didn't at all.
Oh, next time.
No, but we did.
Definitely
we did
next
go
time.
Boardwalk.
Yeah. We went to the cake bake shop.
we
Went to
did.
the new cake shop on the
okay.
Boardwalk. Very, very good. Highly recommend the cake.
Yeah.
But it says serves 1 to 2. Definitely serves 2.
Yeah.
gonna
This,
put it out
this
there.
cake like
This cake
defeated
was
us.
massive.
I can imagine.
But it's very nice, white and pink, very pink and sparkly.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
So obviously one of the reasons why we got you on here is because we want to talk about roller coasters. We love roller coasters. You guys love roller coasters. So first and foremost, what do you actually think makes a good roller coaster compared to a bad one?
You've probably got a lot more to say than me, so I'll say my little brief bit.
Go on.
So, for me, I love a launch, and because I'm a bit bigger, sometimes restraints can be a little bit uncomfortable. So, if it's got good comfy restraints for bigger people and a launch, I'm sold. I'm quite easy to please, to be fair, and I do like a bit of theming as well, a good bit of theming. Other than that, I'm quite happy. It doesn't have to go upside down or anything like that for me. Just comfy and a launch.
Yeah.
Comfy speed.
Yeah.
Comfy speed, yeah.
Comfy speed, yeah. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
And now Luke will give you
I mean,
a long spiel of everything else.
I'm trying not to too long. Speaking of long, I think length is good. It's always good when you get on a
Mhm.
ride, especially if you've been queuing for a while
Yes.
and it's not over in like 30 seconds. It goes
Yeah.
on for a little bit. Like Hagrid's, for example, is a great
Mhm.
example. Feels like you really go on an adventure for that, don't you? And you get all these elements. You got multiple launchers. You got the spa. You got the backwards bit, the drop track. It just feels like you're getting a really all-round experience.
And it's comfy.
Yeah.
And it is comfy, yeah, it's comfy.
Yes.
And obviously you
Yeah,
get different
very comfortable.
experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you get different experiences if you're in the
Yeah.
sidecar and if you're on the bike. You can have an argument with the missus in the queue line about who's getting what.
I normally get my way, so.
Yeah, I'm in the sidecar. And yeah, that is brilliant. Another thing for me, I do like airtime. I like that idea of you being kind of feel like you're being flung out. You know, that is something I really like. I really love a bit of strong airtime. And that's why I think a Velocicoaster is great. That's got some really nice whippy moments. That's also why my number one coaster is Voltron, which is in Europa Park.
Nice.
Again, really whippy. Feels like it's gonna eject you out.
Like it's trying to kill you, yeah.
Airtime. It's got to be comfy. To me, a ride. If you come off it and think, God, you need to sit down because it's throwing you around that much.
Yeah.
That's not that enjoyable. It's nice that you've got some airtime. You've got the launchers. It's a nice thrill coaster. But it feels like you could just do it again and again and again, and you wouldn't be too fatigued.
Yeah.
That to me is really important.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that we're definitely starting to notice. If you think about, like, especially when we're talking about Florida and Orlando, like a lot of the newer coasters are so ridiculously smooth and comfortable, and they have so many different elements to them. Like, you know, when I think about, like, I felt a little bit uneasy coming off Rock and Roller Coaster this time because it is actually, like, despite having a great launch, it is so janky. The Hulk will always make you pass out because it rattles you about like
I
mad.
passed out on the Hulk and Rip Ride Rocket.
But then the back ride on that is insane.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Wow.
And then you've got something
it's great.
then you've got something like Rip Ride. Then you've got like Rip Ride, which, you know, again, part of me feels quite nostalgic that it is eventually going. But then I compare that to like your Guardians, your Velocicoaster, you know, especially even some of these new ones that are coming out from Epic Universe. The experience is totally different, and actually it makes for such an enjoyable ride in comparison.
I also think when you're talking about restraints, like, I really like how Velocicoaster is done with the restraint, and I really like how Hagrid is, and I like the lap bar aspect. That being said, I don't like it on Rip Ride Rocket. I mean, it's comfortable,
weird.
but it feels wrong.
It's only because you actually fear for your life in that one.
Yeah.
It's a weird restraint though, isn't it? Because it kind of it's
pretty high
technically a
up.
lap bar, but it kind of sits high on your stomach. It doesn't feel like you're secure around your legs like Velocicoaster and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then you're not a big fan of that restraint, are you?
On this trip, we were saying that like things like Gringotts and the Mummy are so hard just to sit down. Like when you've got to shuffle through. And then it is quite a tight, like there's been quite a few times where I've been sat down like in shorts because it's Florida, and like my skin is being like squeezed between it, and that's uncomfortable. So, but I do think for me, Velocicoaster is, I think, the most comfortable I've been on a roller coaster, personally.
I think I like how you sit on Tron, but when you just said with like your skin, so when you've got your shorts on, me and my sister, you just can't move, and it's like you feel like you're ripping off on Tron, but it is very comfortable. I feel like if you had trousers or just covering your legs, it's actually really comfortable. But going off of Disney and Universal at SeaWorld, if you go on Icebreaker,
they're terrible.
that is an absolute nightmare to get in because of how close the seats are and the restraints on that. Just get rid of them.
My shoe slipped off trying to get out of it.
Yeah, you lost your shoe.
Well, I mean, that being said, we did Seven Dwarfs Mine Train on our most recent trip, and I was sat next to this random dad because we were a group of 5 at the time, so someone had to go by themselves. It was me, and this dad, like, I would say he wasn't a particularly like big guy. He was just a little bit stocky and like tall, and me and him were like shoulder to shoulder in this car, and I was just like, it's low, and I was like, this is crazy because it is a kids roller coaster, but it's not a kids roller coaster. Like, we did fight the hippogriff this trip.
Yeah.
And we did find that one we were sat very close together, but that is
designed for a child.
Is a child's roller coaster. So I understand that. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is a little bit more adult. Well,
Yeah.
I say that.
It's like a nice
It's a
starter
mixed
coaster.
range. So yeah.
Yeah, it's for the family. I think that's why, like you say, Velocicoaster is so great. You got your individual seats.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're sat with a randomer, like I've been on my own, when you,
Yeah.
you know, when we've done like free row,
I'm
you're
like, I'm dying now. I'm
Yeah,
gonna sit
I'll
down.
go around again.
Yeah, tap out for a bit.
You sat next to some randomer. It doesn't matter because you've got your own
Yeah.
restraint. You're quite a good distance away from them, and you can enjoy it. I think
Yeah.
rides like that are brilliant for that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I have a really random question. Right.
Far away,
I
Chloe.
thought about it. You know, are you, when the roller coaster comes to an end, do you clap?
I have.
I have
I
I don't
clapped.
think I have. I think you
I
did
definitely have.
at the end of Voltron, and I'm just sat there like, oh my god.
I
what are you
find
doing?
normally it's when a roller coaster is new. A lot of people do it
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Like people did on Hyperia when we went on that before.
Yeah.
You know, people were
Yeah.
clapping it in Voltron and even Condor, I think.
Yeah,
Wallaby
I
Holland,
think
Wallaby,
so.
Wallaby Belgium, sorry. People were, but if it's a good ride, I can't help it.
No,
I won't do it every time though.
yeah, I mean, but if it's a new ride, that kind of makes sense. But like when we were there at Universal, and I'm coming off the Mummy, and all the people are like, "What?
Oh my god, it's
Welcome
no.
back!"
every single
I
ride.
find it so funny. Like I really get into it. Like this is so funny to me that people are just clapping like "Welcome back."
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. But like, why? It's just a roller.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do that on Mummy,
But
don't
yeah.
they? Because the cast members do it too. They
Yeah,
will clap
they
you
do.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they clap. They're the first ones to clap you. I'm like, why are we clapping? I don't understand.
Yeah, but there were also more than I noticed previously. It must just be an American thing. It's like a plane lands,
Oh, yeah.
clap. Roller coaster finishes, clap,
Someone
Yeah.
gives a one-word answer
Yeah.
on a game show.
clap.
Clap. Like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
just clap at everything,
Yeah.
and I love it. It's so funny to me.
Oh dear,
Yeah.
it
They're
does.
definitely
it
very
does-
enthusiastic over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I normally do clap, but it's more. I think I get hyped up because they're clapping, so I then start
Yeah.
clapping too.
Do you
Like,
know
that's
what?
what it is.
I'm going to go back to what we said earlier with you, Luke, because you said everything's bigger. I think it's even just the way that people react to things, like just in
Oh, yeah.
general. Like if people are enjoying
100%.
themselves, they're really enjoying themselves.
Oh,
Yeah.
we had this kid
Yeah.
on the flight at the Hippogriff. We he must have been like 6 or 7, and I think it was his first time going on it. And we went up, and then we just started slowly going down, and he went, let's go, baby, yeah. And I was like, this kid,
Yeah.
he had the best time the entire way around. He's like, let's go. And I turned around to him and I was like, did you enjoy that? He's like, I loved it. I'm like, I could tell.
I remember the first year we went on Soaring.
Oh,
Can you know
Yeah,
what I'm gonna
yeah.
say? And we had there's just us 4, and then there was basically all Americans, but they all knew each other.
Mhm.
They come as a huge group, and no joke, the whole ride there was like, "Yeah, man, this rocks," and all this like the whole way around. As soon as it finished, they were clapping
like-
and whooping. It was like,
I love soaring,
Hi.
but you know,
Yeah.
you've just been sat and you've just been nicely floated around.
I was
It's
about to
not
say, it's a
that
nice
enthusiastic. Yeah,
Relaxing. It's a nice relaxing
Yeah.
trip. Yeah.
exactly. If you just got off Velocicoaster, I'd probably be down with you on that one. But
Yeah.
you've just come off soaring. Chill out.
yeah.
Yeah. Because like you said,
Hang on, am I not supposed to clap at the end of Living with the Land?
like, whoop.
I celebrate. I'm like, thank God I can get off there.
I mean, you said, Natasha, about how like you did like sometimes after a few roller coasters, you're like, I'm done for a bit. Thank you very much. We found that on this, I think it was the first time I've ever felt like that. And I think maybe I'm just getting older. I don't know. But we did a day at Universal. We tried to do as many rides as we could in one day without an express pass. And we did 18 rides in one day. And then the
Nice.
next day I'm like, I don't want to go on a single ride at Animal Kingdom. I
Yeah,
don't
we
want
were
to do
like,
it.
we were like, we want to do the slowest day
Yeah.
ever. So we ended up doing like the Wilderness Explorers Trail and just
Yeah.
walking around because we were like,
I'm like,
nah.
I can't do another roller coaster right now, which is very normally I'm like, yeah, let's go again. But yeah, after that day, I was like, I'm tapping out. So
I do love rides, but Luke can just go forever, and I'm just like, I just need 5 minutes, and then I'll be fine
Mhm.
again. He's like, oh, come on, and I'm like, no, just you go. I sit. I'll join you
Yeah.
later.
I mean, I remember like some years ago when I was around 23, 24, Like me and my mate just did like the Smiler at Alton Towers 10 times, just casually as you do in a
Wow.
row, just smashing it, upside down 140 times, no problem.
No.
Oh
And
my
like
god.
now, I do it once, I'm like, yeah, let's go do something else.
I mean, that hasn't aged well though. So
It hasn't aged well.
Yeah.
No, exactly. And it's like what we were saying about some of the other coasters. There's certain ones that you're going to be able to ride for years and years. And then there's other ones that as you get older, your body goes, you sure about this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really want to ride it?
I mean, we had an hour wait for Velocicoaster and an hour wait for Hagrid's. And actually, I think I needed that hour. But we both took our books with us. So I had my Kindle and Stephen had his book. And we were actually just reading for the hour. And I thought that was perfect. I felt relaxed. I felt calm. Felt chill. Then I'm ready to ride a roller coaster again. Whereas I think if I'm just building it up all the time, it's just too much energy, too much excitement.
And so in terms of other questions that we kind of posed to you on the sort of plan we sent through, one of the ones was if you could reinvent or update a coaster, what would you do? What are your thoughts on those? Are there any sort of either worldwide or in Orlando that you would update?
in Orlando for me is I wouldn't actually change the coaster tracker or anything like that because I do love it. Would be Space Mountain just because I like the darkness, but I feel like it could have a little bit of something else in there. Just because it's in Tomorrowland, like it's meant to be about the future and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's kind of not.
I was talking about this.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Tomorrowland is what people in the 80s thought the future would look like.
Yes.
Whereas probably what it should be is what we now think
What the future should be like.
would look like.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah, like the actual coaster I love, but just put a bit of something extra in there now.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. But the thing is that with like say your Disney and Orlando rides is I think everyone loves them. And it's as soon as you announce, like if Disney was to announce they was changing it, there'd be uproar.
Oh yeah.
They can't change
There's
anything. And
always
we're still
gonna
salty
be.
about dinosaur.
Oh, dinosaur. No.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
choose
no.
dinosaur.
Yeah. I think that's one that people say it does. Don't get me wrong. I think it could do a little bit of an update, but I don't think it should go. And
I still think it's a fantastic ride.
Yeah.
And it's, I will ride it every time I step into Animal Kingdom. Except
now.
for the time that we do 18 rides before.
yes, then we will not. Yeah.
Is there anything you would update, Chloe?
I probably agree with Space Mountain. I'd probably say that's one that does need an update. I mean, obviously they are updating Rock and Roll Roller Coaster, so I'm intrigued to see how much that gets updated, like as an actual ride track.
What,
I mean, like, are they going to change
neon stuff around it?
not the theming, because
Okay.
that's all changing, but like the actual, like, is the ride itself going to change?
Is it
at
going
all?
to actually get smoother, or
That's
is it
what
going to
I'd
still
like to
rattle
know.
my brain?
And then I don't think there's anything else that I'd really say massively needs it that is doable, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Like the Mummy, that isn't really going to get updated.
No, but it got
But it got an
like,
update and it was good.
That for me got a necessary update because we talk about like things getting dated, like the Mummy when they up, like for God's sake, projection and things like that have come on leaps and bounds. So Natasha, when you talk about like Space Mountain and you think about how much better like projection mapping and things like that and all that technology has come on, why on earth are we not seeing that style of projection inside Space Mountain rather than just like a couple of LED lights making it be like, oh, you're in space, and by the way, we're going to put this whoosh sound effect next to you. Like that's my big thing.
The Hulk.
Yes.
I think that could be redone because what is that little section at the end of that ride? You know, when you have like the main big part and then at the end where you take your photo, what a random place to take your photo at the end of the ride. And
I think they just need you to calm down. You've just been pulsed with gamma.
But it's weird. And I always feel like that's a part that makes me feel a bit queasy, which is strange because normally the big part is the end. I feel like that's a random, there's no theming in that area. Like it's just a bit of dead grass. And I don't understand it.
Yeah.
So I think you got a point in there in the fact you look at what Universal can do now with Velocicoaster, with Hagrid's. Can you imagine if they was to redo Hulk now, it would be so much different to what it actually is from when they did it back in the 90s.
I think they can't redo it due to the Marvel contracts with
No,
Disney
they still
now.
can't.
They can't update anything in that area. They either have to get rid of it or leave it as it is. And I think they're going to have to get rid of that area at some point. They're going to have to give in because it's going to get to a point that it is dated.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that when we were following Captain America.
Oh yeah,
And
in Universal.
it's just the comic book costumes that it literally looks like you just bought it on Amazon
He
and
was
now
so
you're walking through the
swamped.
park. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I was thinking, I've been so harsh on Rock and Roller Coaster and being like, oh, it needs to be like the Goofy movie. I've had another thought.
Yes.
What about Hannah Montana?
Fantastic.
I think that would be excellent.
Didn't Sophie say she thought it would be like Disney Channel hits?
Yeah, I mean,
That'd be a
I
great
had that,
idea.
or I had Camp Rock.
Hannah Montana.
'Cause
No,
that'd be
Hannah Montana
hilarious.
works better.
Hannah Montana. You imagine
Oh
like
my
launching and all you get
God.
is like
Oh,
I'm sold
yeah.
already. I mean, I feel like that's for like a niche of like a gap of like 5 to 8 years worth of people
Yeah,
who will love it.
but
The other
you
people will be
look-
like, what on earth is this IP?
But you look at how well 90s Night does in Disneyland.
True.
So I'm just
Yeah.
saying. The Lizzie McGuire
Maybe
t-shirt
you
just
just have
sold
to
out in
like,
Disney.
maybe you just have to like, I don't know,
Mhm.
show your ID and you have to be born between a certain age range in order to go
You're
on
right.
it. Otherwise, you're not going to appreciate it. Go elsewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think the Muppets is quite interesting, to be fair, because that's quite old school now.
I don't know
They don't
how
make Muppets
they're
anymore,
gonna
do
Yeah.
they?
how they're gonna make a launch coaster about the Muppets. I really don't know how they're gonna do
They're
that.
going to be a rock band or something, aren't they? Sure.
Yeah,
Is
I
it the
think-
one that does play guitar or something?
Yeah, I think it's going to be more to do with the fact because on Disney Plus they released a kind of Muppets series. I think it was last year, and it was all to do with like the kind of band. So
The
I
animal
think
on the
yeah, so I
drums.
think they're gonna theme it around that. But then again,
Mm.
as far as I was aware, that series wasn't massive. I think they're purely doing it out of guilt because they're getting rid of Muppet Vision and Muppet Courtyard. So they've got to keep something Muppets in there. Is
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah, could well be.
I quite like Muppet Vision. Keep Muppet Vision and retheme Rock and Roller to something else.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Or just move
Because
Muppet
it's listening.
No,
Move
they're
Muppet
not
Vision
listening
to
to us.
where the villains Ever After's going to be.
True.
They could have just put Muppet Vision in there because it's not a massive big show, so they don't need.
And
the
it
big
kind of doesn't need to
space.
belong in a particular place, does
No.
it?
So they should have done that. Oh,
Even still, we're gonna stay on this sort of inventive path. We did also ask you guys if you could invent any coaster, what would it be? How would it go? I want to see how you rose to this challenge.
For me, I'm not very good at this. Luke, he does this like every day in his head, so take it away.
No joke. I probably sat Tash down for a good half an hour when I was telling her about my idea, and it came up. Like, literally, I did this before
You sent the schedule.
sent the schedule because was traveling home from from Blackpool at the weekend, and you was reading to me what the agenda was going to be, and Tash like, oh god, and I'm like, what? And she's like, invent a roller coaster. I'm like, yes, I've already done that. So obviously we know that Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket is going, and the idea is Universal is going to be replacing that with something. So we don't know what yet. So my idea was actually around what that replacement would be, and something that I think would work. So obviously they had Ghostbusters at Halloween Horror Nights last year. And they've got the Ghostbusters like fire station, haven't they? Just to the side of Jimmy Fallon. So I've kind of thought, well, could they maybe do something with that? So my idea was, and again, it is all based around my favorite roller coaster, Voltron at Europa Park. And for anyone who doesn't know what Voltron does or Voltron, is, it's multi-launch and it's the world's steepest vertical launch. So it launches vertically up. And then it will do inversions. It's got more launchers. It does a shuttle launch. It's got a turntable, a vertical spike. So it's got a lot going off on it. So my idea was, if move the entrance, move it away from like Minions Land, because I feel like you've got Minions Land and then you've got that entrance just there. It feels a bit weird. So just get rid of that. Put the entrance at the other end of the park, where some scare mazes normally are, and where the fire station is.
Yeah,
and the idea is you are going to become a ghost. So, but you're doing it kind of in the Ghostbusters backyard. So, like, you can almost have next to the fire station like a little like wooden made sign with like hand painted monsters here kind of thing. You then like go through. I have thought about this in some detail. You then go through and you go into like a room, a bit like you do in Despicable Me. You're staying in lines, and it's like you're going to become a ghost, a bit like instead of coming like a minion, you're going to become a ghost, and you can have some effects, some smoke going off, some lights, and then you could almost use technology, use AR, use cameras, so it's a live picture of obviously the guests, and the next minute it changes. You're all ghosts. You're all
Like
in various forms. You then go through to the next room. You as you queue in, you see lots of props about you going to like ghost school, how to be a ghost. Lots of like little tests, some interactives in the queue line, and then you go through to you put your stuff in a locker, which you would do, and you're doing Universal. And then you could have like a room, a bit like before Velocicoaster. You got a big screen. This is your final test, your final field outing, being a ghost. That's kind of the theme. So then you get on the ride. So Voltron has a very similar system to like Hagrid's with a moving walkway. So you just get onto the ride. You can make that look as funky as you wish.
Yeah.
And then on Voltron, you go round a corner and you usually see Nikola Tesla, because that's what that's themed on. I think you should see at this point the Ghostbusters. They've caught you as you're about to go on your outing. And as you carry on round, you'll come to a stop, like you do on Voltron. You come to a stop, and you'll again have screens and technology to make it look like they're shooting you with the plasma guns. And a cool thing that Voltron does at this point is it lifts up slightly, and then it will vibrate quite hard to mimic you being electrocuted. Well, that's what I think it should do. You're being zapped. And then what Voltron does, it shoots up, shoots down, shoots up, shoots down like this. I think it should probably shoot up because you're about to get caught. Next minute, your tutor comes in that's been teaching you all this time, cuts the power. Ghostbusters are like, oh no, they're going to get away. So obviously the train will slam back down to the bottom again. And just as that's happening, roller blind opens and you shoot vertically up and out. So you've escaped as a ghost. And then you go through the layout, you got some inversions, you got some launches.
Nice.
Maybe have the turntable element. Maybe like where the other end of Rip Ride Rocket is now, towards City Walk.
Yeah.
So you sort of go into there, you're going to spin round, you're going to vertically launch backwards up a spike, vertically launch forward, obviously end up basically coming to the end of the ride back towards that side of the park again before you get off, and you're a graduated ghost through the gift shop.
Love a gift shop.
Welcome back, ghosts.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, get clapping. Yeah, well done.
Wow.
So,
Do you know what?
I'm so ready to ride that ride.
It's one thing that I've said really, really recently. Like we've changed our style of questioning, and we always try and put in like a creative question that just lets guests like go off on one. You fully went off on one of that. I love it.
But then
Full marks for effort.
when you said Ghostbusters, I was thinking like it just makes so much sense because they know. I think Universal must be aware that so many people are not happy with the fact that all the classic films and all those rides are going, like Jaws, Back to the Future. Trying to think what else. I don't know.
Well, to be fair, they used to have a
everything.
Ghostbusters show.
Ghostbusters, Beetlejuice, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's all just modern, like Minions and Life of Pets and all that kind of stuff. And I think Ghostbusters is a really good one that they could use, and it was so popular at Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah, and it fits in with the New York, and I think that's the important thing, because you can't just like shove something in there that doesn't fit in with that
Someone
area.
was saying it's going to be a Life of Pets thing, and I don't think it is.
No.
It's not going to be a roller coaster, but could it be Fast and Furious? Could they be closing?
Yeah, lots of people have been rumoring the Hollywood Drift.
Yeah, but I like that idea a lot more, so I'm sold on that.
No, I must admit, I sat Tash down, and I was like, just hear me out. I have had a moment.
I don't get a choice in this. It's just like sit down and like, oh, here we go.
I've used my genius. And she's like, why do you go work for Universal? Like, I'd love to work for Universal.
Yeah,
you're just like, this question was designed for
I'm even
me.
wearing the t-shirt. Look, come on.
But to say, I saw the Epic Universe. Yeah.
Did you have any ideas, Natasha?
Not that could top that. No, I just want a Cheshire Cat themed coaster. That'll do me.
Or a themed ride.
Oh yeah, just even a themed ride. A nice little Alice ride. Oh, we've got one in Blackpool Pleasure Beach, but it's not quite the same, is it?
I was about to say, you can make that crazy and chaotic with loads of loops and screens and things like that, because it's topsy-turvy all over the place.
Yeah.
Perfect. What about you, Clay?
Oh,
did you come to
first?
me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just I still think, and I believe it will happen. I don't know where it's going to happen, whether it'll be in Universal UK or Epic Universe or anywhere like that. I think when they do a Wicked Land, they should have like a Defying Gravity coaster that is like it feels like the final moment of that first film.
Yeah.
Like big launches, massive loops, loads of airtime. Like it should be as epic as that final song is. What about you?
No, I was just thinking I want an update on the Grand Fiesta tour in Mexico, and that's already being done. So, cause I was thinking, how
That's
can I
not a
make?
coaster.
I was thinking about doing the Grand Fiesta coaster, which is a roller coaster based off the Grand Fiesta Margarita. I love it, and I was trying to think what part of the ride each flavor would
Go
be.
home.
So,
Go home.
And how many margaritas did you have at this point? I mean, I think I was trying to keep track. I think it was like, how many was it? Like 16, 17?
Something like that.
But the amount of people that would message me, got like Margarita 12, and they're like, of the day? I'm like, no, of the trip. I had so many messages. I'm like, no, guys, I'm okay.
We kept joking with the whole thing and being like, we were going to post a picture of like Chloe over my shoulder being like, the margaritas have got too much because so many people were just assuming it was in a day.
No, it was.
Oh,
it
you
was
should
over
have
the
done
course of
that.
those days. Next time, because I will always drink margaritas. So
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to move us on ever so slightly just because you're wearing the Epic Universe top as well. Should we talk a little bit about some of the coasters that are coming to Epic Universe and our sort of expectations and things like that? Like, what are you guys most excited for when it comes to Epic Universe and the coasters there?
Probably Donkey Kong, just because it looks so different. I've tried not to look too much
trying
into
to say spoiler free, aren't we?
Yeah, and we're both trying to stay spoiler free as possible. Obviously, we know kind of what's going to be.
We know it's meant to look like it's jumping the track.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
to me that just again the theming looks like it's on point.
Yeah,
and it's just it just looks cool.
I think it's going to be fantastic, and I think going back to that thing of what makes a good roller coaster, it doesn't necessarily have to be fast launchers, inversions, airtime. It can just be a phenomenal experience, and I think that will be just an unthinkable, crazy experience. Can you imagine a front row ride on that? That would be insane.
Yeah,
that looks so good.
Unfortunately, one of the like POVs came up on my thing, and I won't spoil anything, but like the gap looks terrifying, but incredibly enjoyable because your mind just doesn't perceive the thing happening. And I think that's going to be ridiculously fun. I keep seeing so much stuff of the Curse of the Werewolf.
Oh yeah.
And like more so for like
excited.
you just mentioned like the overall theming and experience. And the more I see those sort of like next level animatronics and the sort of experience that I've seen from some visuals, because I'll be honest, I'm one of those people, I will try and avoid spoilers, but then a video will come up and I will accidentally not swipe away.
That's me as well.
And honestly, there's moments in that I've been reading lots of like cast feedback because people have been kind of posting anonymously because they're not supposed to say anything, but that is getting ridiculous reviews at the moment as an experience. So I think that's going to be incredible as well.
Yeah. Is it Stardust Racers?
Technically, yes. It's Stardust Racers. Used to be Starfall Racers because there was a licensing issue.
Yes, but it's now Stardust. That I'm so excited for because, I mean, you never got to do Dueling Dragons, Luke, because obviously it was gone by the time you went to Orlando. Incredible ride.
Yeah,
so much
good.
fun. I love a dueling roller coaster. And so I think that's going to be incredible.
Yeah, and actually from some of the visuals that they're sending through as well, you are really close to the other car, like really close. Now I don't know whether that's just necessarily a perception thing, but you know, to me, it looks great. It's going to go over 60 miles an hour. That's going to feel like a proper thrill. I love it.
And the length of it, like you said, obviously you like the length of the coaster. It looks like it's going to be really long.
Yeah, and you're going to want to ride it twice because you're going to want to do each one. You know, you want to try both of them. You know, especially those who can't roller coasters. That is a +2.
Exactly. You've got to do both.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how the queue works. Whether it's an entrance per, because Dueling Dragons used to be an entrance per color. I'm pretty sure
it was like choose your path.
Your path. I don't know if they're going to do the same with that, or you get automatically assigned. I don't know how it's going to work.
I'd imagine that you'll probably get to a load. I'd imagine they'll keep a queue, but then they'll have like a loading sequence, and it will be like if you want to say that your preference is a bit like if you want to ride the front, you want to ride the back. If your preference is to do one or the other, I think they'll probably give you a choice.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if they don't, but it's
Yeah.
all going to be virtual queue.
Yeah, which
That's
is
one thing to remember.
wonderful. Love a virtual queue, actually. I think they're great.
Yeah. One thing I was also going to mention was we literally got it this week. The Monsters Inc. coaster looks like that is going to be ridiculous, because that's going to be Disney's first suspended coaster. It's having like a vertical launch, just the whole thing. Even though it was like all in 3D drawings, my brain could not fathom this experience, but it looks so good.
Yeah, it does. Monsters Inc. is one of my favorite films, so I'm really looking forward to that. And I think I like Hollywood studios, but it's always so busy that it can be a bit frustrating at the same time. So hopefully putting that in might take off like a bit of heat on
high capacity,
on like Slinky Dog, for example, or Rise of Resistance, because they're just
it's just
it
big
can be
ride after
painful
big ride,
to
isn't
get.
it?
Yeah.
It has got one of the best ride lineups. We say you've got Mickey and Minnie's as well, Tower of Terror. People love that, you know. And I do feel like that park, like we always say, that's the park. If you're going to buy Genie Plus or whatever it's called now, I forgot what it's actually called now. We still call it Genie Plus. If you're going to buy it for one park, that's the one you want. To buy it for. 100%.
Absolutely.
But no, the new coaster does look. It does look really, really good. I'm excited to actually see more bits, because like I say, it's just drawings at the minute and stuff. So
I think that's going to be a really good addition to Hollywood studios. I think they need a high throughput roller coaster, and that's what they're getting. So
and I think it's a type of roller coaster that everyone saw that film at some point and thought, I want to go on that door, and now you can. You are the door.
Yeah, but I also think as well, Disney are probably in the back of their mind going, how do we do something new and different when you've got Epic Universe opening and there's so many experiences that are clearly going to be mind-blowing.
I heard loads of cast members joking about like Disney, because they've got their offer on their tickets at the moment, and like cast members making jokes about how it's all to do with Epic, and I thought that's really funny. Lots of cast members bringing it up. I'm like, this is really interesting. So, because I always say that when I'm booking someone a Universal holiday, I'm always like, oh, you should do like maybe 3 nights. If you're going to do a split, I would do maybe 4 at Universal, 10 at Disney, whichever way around. Or if you're going to go Express Pass Hotel, you just need 2 at Universal and the rest at Disney. But now I'm like, I don't know how long to recommend with Epic Universe, which is so silly because it's just one more park. But I'm still like, oh, I don't know. Crazy.
I know when Universal first pitched Epic Universe to like the public, they said they wanted to make Universal in Orlando somewhere you go for a week.
Yes.
That was their target. And obviously with the 2 parks that's already there, Volcano Bay and now Epic, you could spend a week at Universal easily. I think with that easily. We've got our 14-day plus 1 for Epic at the moment, and we're hoping that they'll let you do unsecond, because ideally want to have at least 2 days at Epic Universe.
Agreed.
Because you're going to want 1 day just to try and smash out as many rides as you can, and then 1 day to just try and just appreciate the area, because it does look like an absolute stunning park, especially at night. I know they've done some footage in the last couple of days of like the lights at the front. It looks just insane. You haven't seen it, have you?
No,
I've seen it, because again, I can't not go past it. But it's going to be fantastic, and I do think Disney probably are a bit worried about it. You know,
they must be.
Yeah, the tickets are so, I say cheap. Like, I can't remember what we paid. We paid like £400 and something pounds.
I think they came out at £429 each for September, 14 days. Which is crazy cheap.
Cheaper than what we paid in 23.
Cool, amazing. So what we like to do in terms of the end of an interview is I will fire some quick fire questions at you. All I ask is that you answer as quickly as possible. What I'll probably do is I'll just keep it to Orlando and Florida, just to keep it nice and concise.
Otherwise, I think you've got too much choice. Otherwise, and it'll be a lot.
Yeah, exactly. If I do worldwide, it'll be nuts. Okay, my first question: what is your favorite ride?
Spider-Man.
Velocicoaster.
There you go.
Good choices.
What's your least favorite ride?
Living with the Land.
Living with the Land.
A little part of my soul just died, but it's fine.
Really? Do you really like it?
Do you know what? I just find it really calming.
Okay.
It's good for a sit down.
I just find it really
calming.
calming.
I like the first scene. Once you go into the garden, I'm a bit like, I'm not really bothered.
Honestly, I prefer the garden. I don't like the first scene.
I'm just going back to.
I like trying to say all the names of the plants that I can't say. I'm like, what does that say?
I mean, that's great. So between us, we'll hate all of it.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, I'm going back to what Luke was saying. Like, you want to feel like you're getting bang for your buck in terms of how much you queue. You queue for 5 minutes, you get 15 minutes of ride. What's not to like?
I mean, you did say that.
I mean, that's enough time for a power nap, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, what is your favourite food or snack?
Mickey pretzel.
Chicken tenders from Pinocchio's in Magic Kingdom.
Mm.
Nice. We had those watching the fireworks. It was delightful.
Yeah.
What is your least favourite food or snack?
I don't like the cheeseburger spring rolls.
Least favorite snack? Oh god, I can't think of one.
I
like
mean, Luke
everything.
likes everything.
I'd
so-
say we had Culver's, and that wasn't great. That's what I'll go with.
Fair enough. What cast member position would you like to have at Disney or Universal?
Imagineer.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to be in. I mean, I need absolutely sweat out over there, but I'd love to be in one of the costumes just
Mm-hmm.
because of how they make me feel. I'd love to be able to make other people feel that.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
just give them the joy and the happiness.
What cast member position would you least like to have?
In the toilets.
Probably gardening, keeping
Oh.
all the plants fresh and stuff like that.
Fair enough.
I feel
Early
like
morning.
it'd be too hot.
Mm.
I'd
Yeah.
burn to a crisp.
Yeah.
And early mornings, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what is your favourite sound in Florida?
Do you know what? It's the second launch of Velocicoaster.
You know, I was thinking Velocicoaster
Nice.
launch as well.
Good one. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, you feel like you're never going to stop accelerating in that second launch, and it's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
It's just that burn as you go. I love it.
Yeah.
It's like a car in a tunnel.
Yeah.
And what is your least favourite sound?
When the airplane door closes on the way home.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. That's a hard question.
Me moaning that it's out.
Yeah, probably Luke moaning that he's out, yeah.
And my final question is, you guys are each given a $100 gift card. What is the first thing you buy?
Something with Figment on it. Oh no, you're buying.
I've got an obsession with Bob's teddy bear Tim from the Minions, so all the Tim
Okay.
merch.
Fair enough.
Literally.
Yeah.
We've got videos of you running into a gift shop
Mhm.
because you saw something with Tim on it.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a bit obsessed.
Well, guys, this has been such a wonderful and enjoyable episode. So thank you so much for joining us and sharing all your weird and wonderful ideas, especially there, Luke.
No, thank you very much.
No,
for having us. We
thank you.
appreciate it.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. It's been great chatting to you.
Where can people find you on the social medias?
So we are Castles and Coasters Couple, and we are that on Instagram, and we're also that on YouTube.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. We will hopefully catch you again very, very soon. So thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
That was so nice.
I feel like our ideas were fabulous.
They were great ideas.
I liked your ideas.
You like my ideas?
I'm being sarcastic.
I know.
You put minimal ideas.
Yeah, I had minimal ideas, but no,
No.
it was a really, really
I like getting creative though, especially with guests. Like we do more creative things with guests now, and I really, really enjoy just watching people's imagination go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And that was particularly enjoyable. So thank you so much for coming on, guys.
Yeah, so we're now going to ask a question for next week's episode. Next week's episode, we will be ranking the Epcot attractions. Not all the attractions, because if you count
Oh.
every single attraction, there are a lot, and it's things like Reflections of China.
Yeah, I think
And-
we've whittled it down to like the 20 main things you can do.
Yes, taking out a lot of the show, like the Canada band, the UK band. We haven't included those because, I mean, they're... Yeah, I think they would
Otherwise,
all...
we'd be here forever.
It would
and
be a
you
very,
don't
very
want
long
that.
episode. But I'm very excited for that one. It's just, I'm not going to get into it because we're going to talk about it in a minute
Yep.
anyway. But the question is, I want to know, how tall is the replica of the Eiffel Tower in the France Pavilion?
Yeah, but it's the Eiffel Tower, Chloe. Of course, it's the same size.
Or is it? So yeah, join us next week when we go on to rank the Epcot attractions. And will Stephen and I get any similar answers? I like it when we do. I think it's just a fun.
What's your
Coinky
bet
dink.
now?
I think we're gonna have.
I reckon.
6.
I reckon we'll match on about 4.
I'm going 6.
Okay. See you there.
See you there.
Be
Bye.
there. Be
Oh.
square. Bye.
Bye.
We can cry when it's over.